Greetings, African people. A few subscribers have asked me to do a shorter version of that video that I did this morning. And I think this poem that I wrote 3 years ago will do a good job of how I feel about the situation. I first of all have to say that I don't believe that Jamaica is more violent than anywhere else. And I don't believe that criminal elements that are in Jamaica is representative of the country itself. But I also want to point out that individuals who are sheltered, who have lived in their cocoon for far too long, have ignored the situation with violence in Jamaica because they thought that it didn't affect them. Violence affects us all. And if you see violence and you see crime as something that happens over there and happens to the ghetto people or happen to persons who are less fortunate, then you have made a terrible mistake, because herein lies the problem. When the hits the fan, everybody is exposed. This is called Ghetto Boys. The life story of ghetto boys are not written in the encyclopedia, but unravel through the distorted lens of the media. Their experience of love and tenderness is purely accidental. Born in a space that feels like overcrowded prison cells, many are given a life sentence even as early as gestation. As youths, they know the meaning of living below the poverty mark, understand the danger of living among sharks. Stealing a candy could mean 6 years of incarceration. The only thing guaranteed is a spot in the maximum security institution, and their only guidance is marked by the brutality of tribulation. Bloodshot eyes reveal their pain and frustration, but society deemed them as a menace to our population. Desperation becomes wicked determination. Hunger cries mistaken for murderous intention. Who offered a kind word in the form of consolation when the cops threw them behind bars without explanation? No one was there to temper their vexation, so bitterness became the fuel that fed temptation. Violence poured out blood in the street with the least provocation. Who's gonna confiscate the gun used in these lawless violations? Who's responsible for the sorry state of the nation? Where were you when the boy suffered shame and deprivation? You looked the other way because he was not a blood relation. Now, as their lives spiral into yours, you offer quick damnation. Without assessing the role you played in their abomination, you quickly blame the problem on their geographical location. In hype, you claim to love the poor, the first to show them the door. Now, tyranny kicks down that door and leaves you bleeding on the floor. Crime and violence affects us all. And when things fall apart, we don't just look outside, we look within. I don't know who killed those missionaries. There's so much left to that puzzle. But what we have to do as a nation is to understand the roles we play in taking care of our own people in our own nation, so that when things happen and things fall apart, we know that we did all that we could. Be blessed, African people. Think on these things.